Not again!
Microtech, 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 what are you doing to me? Welcome to my video. So I have an issue right here. So we have the Microtech Exocet Bounty Hunter. And I'm just going to open it for you and you can see what's wrong. The knife does not lock open. So this is not the first time I've had an issue with one of my Microtech OTFs. My UTX-70 right here had the same problem. And it wasn't a simple issue of just going off track and you have to work it back on. There was something broken in it. And I sent it back to Microtech and they fixed it and all has been well since then. But what the issue is this Exocet has been really nice out of the box. And I really haven't even carried it, to be honest with you. And so the fact that I've carried it so little and it's having an issue like this already is really not a good sign. And so 2 out of my 3 Microtechs right here have had issues. And so I've looked up videos online. I've looked up advice. I'm going to try and remedy it myself at home. So I have my isopropyl alcohol. You know, I have my canned air. I have my Rem oil. We're going to try and clean it out and see if that helps the issue at all. But as you can see, you can, when you fire the blade, it just comes loose. You can pull it out and it catches back on the track and it retracts. But then when you fire it again, it just bounces back in the handle. So maybe there's just a piece of gunk or something in there that's keeping it from locking up. Not entirely sure exactly. Not good though, considering this is the second one I've had this happen to. And the first one, again, I had to send back to Microtech, so no bueno there. But they did send it back relatively quickly and, you know, it was fixed. So my big question is it going to happen to my Mini Trudon next? Is this one next up? I've done a little bit better. I'm trying to keep this one lubed up on the inside, whereas this one just had the factory lube, whatever they put in it. So maybe that was a cause of the issue. I don't know. I'm hoping I can remedy this myself, but if not, it is going back to Microtech. But that being said, for the price, it is disappointing. That being said, I worry about my other OTFs. What if that happens to them? Thankfully, Microtech, I know, does have a warranty, so this is something good, and that I can send it in, I can get it fixed, and I know it's going to, you know, be working correctly again. Whereas if I was doing this to one of my lower cost OTFs, you know, the warranty might be iffy. Same thing if you're buying an OTF from, you know, an unknown Chinese company, something like that. You don't know if you have a warranty or not. But when I spend this much money, you expect to be able to send this in and get it fixed. Well, actually, I expect to not have it break to begin with, considering how little I used it. But that is what it is. So you can see the blade flopping out. I'm going to try and remedy it myself, and I'm not going to even post this video until this knife is back in my hands, 100% fully functional. So hopefully it'll go well, but just stay tuned for an update. If you have any fixes that have worked for you in the past, let me know. I've tried a lot of the different remedies on YouTube and just various online places, but I'm going to follow Microtech's own advice and try and clean it out. I'm not taking it apart at all, just, you know, working in with what I got here, and we're going to see if I can do it. I don't know though, so wish me luck. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome back. And so for you it's only been a few seconds, but for me a couple of weeks have passed, and so if you couldn't already tell, I did indeed have to send the knife back to Microtech to get worked on. And if you stay tuned, you'll realize it was no fault of my own. There was an issue with the knife that had to be repaired, but I figured in making this second follow-up video, I might as well go through the process of sending your knife back to Microtech to give you an idea of what to expect if you've never had to do so before. So of course, first off, what I did after I realized I could not repair the knife on my own, I went to Microtech's website and I submitted a ticket. And what they do at that point is they issue you a ticket number. And at that point, you are authorized to send your knife back to Microtech. And so what I did is I sent the knife back to Microtech via USPS priority mail. And so they actually recommend on their site not to use the post office. And essentially, I imagine it's because they probably have had issues with lost packages and things like that. For me, though, in my neck of the woods, the post office is actually pretty reliable. So I do trust them for something like this. So I did pay about $8 to $9 for a small priority mail box, and I sent off my Exocet Bounty Hunter on May 4th of 2021. So one day after I filmed that video, we just left. I sent it off on the 4th, and the knife arrived at Microtech on the 7th. And so it arrived in about a week or so. So I sent it off on Tuesday the 4th. It arrived on Friday the 7th. And the actual process of your warranty work is actually fairly modern. It's fairly nice because they send you emails throughout the whole process. And you have your own support page on their website, so you can see the exact process they're going through. So I was alerted on the 7th they had my knife. And so at that point, it was a waiting game. And so I waited, and the week of between May 10th and May 14th, they were working on my knife. So that was 5 business days. And I received a notice on the 17th, Monday, that they had shipped my knife. And so when they shipped my knife back, they shipped it UPS. And they do that because they do require a signature for the package. And so UPS from Monday the 17th, it was delivered on Friday the 21st. So in total, the entire process from me dropping off the package at the post office to UPS dropping off the package back at my home took about 18 days. And so currently they are quoting 2 to 4 weeks of turnaround time, and that falls right within that window. And it's, in my opinion, that's actually a pretty good amount of time, because again, I could have expected them to have it a lot longer. But throughout the entire process, I was just patient. You know, I watched my email. I went to their website where they have the really cool page where you can see all the information on your knife once they register it in their system. And so when they shipped it out, I could see what the actual issue with the knife was. And so before I even mention that, I will say on my own, I did try to clean out the knife with the isopropyl alcohol. You know, I just kind of flushed out the innards with it. And when I did that, the knife would lock open, but as soon as I applied any lubricant, because the alcohol dries out the knife like crazy, as soon as I applied any lubricant back into the knife, it would continue to stop locking up. So that wasn't a permanent fix. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to turn in the knife and send it back in for warranty work. But essentially, when they shipped the knife back, they actually updated me with the description of what was wrong with it. So I'll pull it straight up from Microtech on the support page. So this particular knife, it says the bottom of the blade was rounded, causing it to slide past the front lock. So that was the issue with the knife. And I'm not sure if they replaced the blade or not. It's kind of hard to tell because the entire blade, you know, the blade is a sterile blade. There are no markings on it of any kind. But when they shipped it back and it was back in my hands, what we see here is what we got from UPS. So first thing on opening the box, we see a basic little information pamphlet. So just giving you the basic maintenance tips. And so they probably send this with every new knife anyway, but just basic knowledge there. They did include a Microtech sticker. That's kind of nice. I will say when I sent in my UTX 70, they actually sent a patch in with that one when I had warranty work on that one. This time we get a sticker though, so it's probably just luck of the draw. Depends on when you turn it in and what they have in stock. But when they do send the knife back, they do send it in a box. And so I did not send the original box in with the knife because I had a feeling, of course, they're not going to return it and I want to keep that. But they do send a nice replacement box here. So you can just see the markings on the outside. Nice holographic sticker. The entire box, very well done. You know, easy to open. Has this little notch right there. So as we open the knife, again, there it is. Super simple. Let's take it out. Okay. And so I'm sure the knife is actually fixed, but we can just take a close look right there. Before I even actuate the blade, I will mention when I tried to clean this knife with alcohol, I would not recommend that because the red paint on this part of the handle of the knife, it actually started to come off. So the alcohol was caustic enough that the paint they use on the switch and on this back piece here, the paint started to kind of fade off and you could see it come off on your fingers. And I'm sure they use a pretty robust paint, but again, isopropyl alcohol is meant to strip things like that. But that being said, not really a big deal because the entire point of the Bounty Hunter series of knives is that it's supposed to look worn. So really in the end, it's about the same as it was before, but if you just kept soaking it in that stuff, you would cause some long-term damage. So here we go, see if it works. Boom, there we go. So here's our Microtech Exocet Bounty Hunter. Of course, everything is the same on the handle. The blade itself, I could not tell you if they had to replace it or if they just did some sort of repair work to make it lock up again, because again, these blades are totally sterile. And that was one of the issues I initially mentioned when I reviewed this knife, is that I'm not even 100% sure of what blade steel this is. So it's going to either be like an M390 or like a CTS 204P, one of those steels that they ran it with. It kind of just depends on when your particular production run was made. But they weren't really clear with that, so I'm not even sure what blade steel it is, but it is a high-end steel, you know, more than I'll ever use. So unfortunately, this one had to go back, and it came back to me, and that's totally fine. I mean, it works again, so that's awesome. It's unfortunate that I had to send it in to begin with, but in the long run, really, what am I out? You know, it cost me $9 or so to send it via the mail, and I was out without it for 18 days. So in the long term, that's really not the end of the world to get a knife that works. And it's really not a bad deal considering, you know, that they repair knives that, you know, need to be repaired. And the actual repair costs were none. You know, they essentially took it in, they fixed it, they sent it back UPS on their dime. And that's what's important to me. So they did their part on the knife to make it work again. A little bit worrisome though, because just like I mentioned back in early May when I sent this off, I haven't actually really used this knife. This knife is something I've used as a money clip more than anything. Other than just actuating the blade like you see here on the video, it hasn't really gotten any actual cutting use. So the blade still, of course, has factory edge on there. And this one must have just had some issues, you know, straight from the factory. So I haven't lubed it up yet. I don't know if I'll need to. You know, it just came back from being fixed, so hopefully it doesn't need that. But I did want to just share my experience because, again, the overall process with Microtech is very straightforward, very simple. They make it easy to get a ticket number once you submit your email to them. And then as soon as they get the package in the mail, they mark it as received so you know it's there. They type in all the details of the knife on their website so you know it's your knife they're talking about. And then as soon as they ship it back, you get the notice. So overall, the process, I would say, is very streamlined and very simple. But that being said, this is my second Microtech knife that has gone in for service. I hope I don't have a third. But yeah, so I did want to share my experience with everybody because overall it's a positive experience because, again, the knife is in my possession. Very little cost out of my pocket to get it fixed. But that being said, I would rather have not had to send it in to begin with because really, what you see here on camera is about the extent of the use the knife ever really had. So if you were to put your Exocet into a hard use situation, which it's arguably not designed for, you know, you might run into issues sooner than I did. Or maybe it's just a fluke and I just happened to have two Microtech knives that went bad and had to be serviced. But either way, I did want to share my experience with everybody here. So if you have any questions about this Exocet, or if you have any questions about the process I went through to get this service, feel free to leave a comment below. What do you think about this? But that being said, thank you all for watching. Have an excellent day, everybody. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.